Donald Trump's name was mentioned at least 9 times across the hundreds of pages of evidence from the Epstein files that were made public earlier this year in the Phase 1 release of the declassified Epstein files. We, of course, already knew this because some of the documents had previously been made public through the prosecution of Epstein's girlfriend and associate, Ghislaine Maxwell, or through civil lawsuits, including flight logs from Epstein's plane and a redacted version of Epstein's so-called Black Book of Contacts. Trump's name appears in both the flight logs and the Book of Contacts, and our social media channels have reported on that over the past few years. During Ghislaine Maxwell's trial, Epstein's longtime pilot testified that Trump flew on Epstein's plane multiple times. Trump has denied being on the plane. But in the files, Trump was listed as a passenger on Epstein's plane at least 8 times between 1993 and 1997. Most flights were between Palm Beach, Florida and Teterboro, New Jersey. According to the logs, Trump also traveled from Palm Beach to Teterboro with a stop in Washington, D.C. with Epstein, Maxwell, and his family, including Marla Trump, Tiffany Trump, and a nanny on May 15, 1994. In total, Trump was mentioned in Jeffrey Epstein's flight logs at least 8 times, including the following: a flight with Epstein and one other person from Teterboro, New Jersey to Palm Beach, Florida on April 23, 1993. A flight with Epstein from Palm Beach, Florida to Teterboro, New Jersey on April 26, 1993. A flight with Epstein, Maxwell, and 2 others from Palm Beach, Florida to Teterboro, New Jersey on October 11, 1993. A flight with Epstein, Maxwell, and 3 others from Palm Beach, Florida to Teterboro, New Jersey on October 17, 1993. A flight with Epstein, Marla Trump, Tiffany Trump, a nanny, and 1 other person from Palm Beach, Florida to Washington, D.C. on May 15, 1994. Tiffany would have been about a year old. A flight with Epstein, Maxwell, Eric Trump, and 4 others from Palm Beach, Florida to Teterboro, New Jersey on August 13, 1995. Eric would have been about 11 years old. A flight with Epstein, Maxwell, and 5 others from Palm Beach, Florida to Newark, New Jersey on January 5, 1997. It's worth noting that of the available flight logs, Trump's name appears more than Bill Clinton's name. It's also worth noting that Donald Trump took his kids Eric and Ivanka with Jeffrey Epstein at the Harley-Davidson Cafe opening in New York in 1993. Imagine knowing a man is a pedo and taking your kids around him anyway. Jeffrey Epstein described himself as Donald Trump's closest friend for 10 years, and Epstein attended Trump's 1993 wedding to Marla Maples. In his 2018 book, Fire and Fury, author Michael Wolff spoke at length about Donald Trump and recorded his interviews with Epstein. Wolff also said that the pedophile showed off photos of Trump with topless young women sitting in his lap. It wasn't specified how old the young women were. The recordings have been analyzed for authenticity, and independent journalists have confirmed that the recordings are definitely Epstein. It's worth pointing out that at least 28 women have made accusations or filed lawsuits against Trump for sexual misconduct. Many of the attacks allegedly occurred when Epstein and Trump were friends. Epstein claimed intimate knowledge of Trump's proclivities for sex, including cuckolding his best friends by sleeping with their wives, in case you didn't know what a cuckold is. The convicted pedophile even boasted of his closeness to Trump and his now wife, Melania, by claiming that the first time Trump slept with Melania was on his plane, which was dubbed the Lolita Express. The Lolita Express is so named because of the Nabokov book, Lolita, which is about a man's obsession with a very young child. I think the girl was about 12 in the book. Anyway, that's where the term Lolita comes from. Epstein also stated that Donald Trump is, and I quote with relish, almost functionally illiterate, and that he could barely read the New York Post page 6 gossip column. Trump allegedly could not read a balance sheet, which explains why he's such a business failure with multiple bankruptcies and failed businesses. For a guy like Epstein, a sociopath and convicted pedophile, to say that Donald Trump is a horrible human being whose only real joy in life seemed to be seducing the wives of men who thought Trump was their best friend, it's quite a thing to say. Quite literally, the scum of the earth is saying that Donald Trump is a horrible person. How fucking awful do you really have to be? As a reminder, for the next 2 days, you can still use the code Epstein in the Sons of Liberty merch store to get 15% off anything in the store. Shameless self-plug. No, I don't give a fuck if that rankles somebody's titties. I just don't give a shit. That is my time. Big Sarge out here. 2 claps and a Rick. Don't take your fucking kids around pedophiles. God damn it.
And now it's time for the throw punch!